Good afternoon, everyone. I warmly welcome all the participants for this our working from home tools and tips session. As you know, COVID-19 transformed business working culture to working from home with new normal scenario. Therefore, we believe today's webinar will highlight certain important points of working from home tools. As per the agenda, we will brief our OPA scope of the webinar with Career Guidance and Skills Development Committee, and how we enable the digital and business perspective the importance of work from home tools. Then we'll proceed the technical presentation on WFH, work from home tools, feature, and followed by a eminent panel discussion. As a reminder, all the participants in this session, I would like to remind that you can forward questions in the question and answer session chat forum, and also you can send emails. I'll let you know the emails later. So let me invite formally to deliver the formal address for the audience, our President OPA, Mr. Saman Varasivithana, who is the 39th President of OPA and agriculturist by profession, is a fellow member of Sri Lanka Institute of Agriculture. He is also Program Secretary of Sri Lanka. He was the OPA President. He was the OPA President. He was the OPA General Secretary in 2018. So over to you, Mr. President Saman Varasivithana.
Thank you, Engineer Saman Kandanaraji, the moderator today, for the introduction. And I have the pleasant task of welcoming all of you, ladies and gentlemen, who join this webinar in this evening. Let me extend my warm welcome on behalf of OPA and all the professionals across the country. As you are aware, the OPA is the apex body or the umbrella organization of professional associations. We have 52 associations right now, representing 32 professions, established in 1975. So we represent basically the entire professional fraternity of this country. OPA has been advocating the digitalization over the last a few decades, because we live, all the professionals live the importance of digitalization and ICT and skills and so on and so forth. So in this, as you may remember, OPA have been focusing even solely on the digitalization program for the even organizing annual conferences even. So today, with the COVID-19 striking, we got to embrace this technology very fast, and we were forced to do that. And it's not the post-COVID situation, but we got to live with COVID-19. So entire landscape of the cultural, social, and the economical landscape of this country, the world will change. So we have to somehow embrace this technology and see what way forward. In this context, OPA is being initiating many events, and I must mention that Career Guidance and Skill Development Committee of OPA, chaired by Engineer Ravi Rupasinghe, started already the dialogue with ICT Industry Skill Council as to how we can give the support to enhance the knowledge of the public and people who are using the ICT communication technology. So this effort is also one of these efforts, and all OPA professionals are planning to helping all of you, whether the private sector or the public sector or any sector, to give some support from the professionals side to enhance your knowledge in the ICT skills. So digitalization, look at the digitalization, we understand Sri Lankan government has made some progress, actually reasonable progress in infrastructure development. But we do see that digital literacy is not it's not satisfactory. So this effort today, working from home tool and tips, is one of the exercises that we are planning to help you out. And for this one, actually, there are a few presenters and the panelists have been invited, and I warmly welcome Engineer Arjuna Manamperi, the Vice President of OPA, also a member of ICT Industry Skill Council. So Mr. Amila Sugatapala, Treasurer OPA, Engineer Ravi Rupasinghe, the Vice President OPA, and also Chairman of Skill Development Council, Committee of OPA. And to technical side also, and Mr. Trevin Kure, the CTO of H1 Private Limited, and Mr. Samath Fernando, CEO of H1 Private Limited. So those speakers and panelists are experts in the field. I will be very grateful to them actually for coming forward to sharing their insights, experience in this field, which is very much beneficial to all of us. Whether we are in the private sector or public sector or any rank from CEO to downwards or any rank, this will be very useful. So thanking all of them, all of you who have joined this webinar, and welcoming once again on behalf of OPA. Let me welcome once again for the session, and I like to introduce, actually hand over to the moderator, our own Assistant Secretary of OPA, Engineer Saman Kandanarachi. He is also a chartered electronic and telecommunication engineer by profession, and not only in that field, but he's also a fellow member of Institute of Supply and Material Management. So he had a wide experience in this field as well. So may I invite moderator Mr. Engineer Saman Kandanarachi to carry on the session, and over to you, Mr. Saman Kandanarachi.
Thank you, President Mr. Saman Varsavithane, for the inaugural speech and highlighting the OPA and the presenters' information. So, according to the agenda, next is to brief out about the Career Guidance and Skills Committee Chairman about the objectives and the why we carry out this working from home tools and tips web session, why it's important. So I'd like to invite Engineer Ravi Rupasinghe, who is Chairman of Career Guidance and Skills Committee, and also by profession is an engineer. Over to you, Engineer Ravi Rupasinghe.
Ayubowan. Good evening, everybody, dear professionals and the audience. So, as I am a chairman of the Career Guidance Committee, Career Guidance and Skill Development Committee in the OPA, we have a duty to give our service for the society. In past, we had conducted many things to educate our professionals and others by incorporating with universities, other institutions like TVEC, and our member associations, including our by providing the CDP courses for them. So this time we selected timely topic, a theme which is very, very essential for the country. Why the country is needed for the ICT skill. Today we are talking about the platform, communication platform. Among those objectives, I will share some objective why we select that topic. So here we are going to discuss the meeting platform. What are the advantages and disadvantages when we are using the platform? Then of course, so while we are working in maybe the private or government sector, we have to reskill and upskill of our people. Then only we can move forward as a personal, as a family, finally as a country. So if the person can build their skills, so that is directly benefit for the country. Then other thing is how we can get the knowledge to use those tools. Especially when we are using the tools, we must aware that what is the behavior with that tools. Then the cost factor, what are the benefit? Then why you want to use those kind of tools? Where we can use those tools? Maybe education, office work, yes, so and so on. By looking at that, there may be a very input for if you are going to use this a meeting tool, especially if you are going to give a what is called part-time job, because there are many educated people. That means educated people. They are only work with some areas only, but with that tool they can contribute more to GDP in Sri Lanka. So there are many things we are going to discuss here with our panelists. I think this may be the truthful discussion for our audience, and hopefully we expect all we stay with us. Over to Engineer Mr. Saman.
Thank you, Engineer Ravi Rupsinghe, highlighting the importance of today's session. So now it is my duty to introduce our next resource person, who is Engineer Arjuna Manamperi. He was a former CIO and also Vice President of OPA and Chairman of National Institutes Committee of OPA and also Vice Chairman of ICT ISC, who will brief from business technology perspective why the working from home tools and tips are important in today's context. So I would like to invite Engineer Arjuna Manamperi. Over to you, Engineer Arjuna Manamperi.
Good evening to everybody, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you, Saman. Thank you, OPA. I think the question that Saman asked is why is it important to have tools and tips for working from home or remote work or virtual work or telecommuting, as people say. Before we get into the details of it during the session, what I like to emphasize is simple things that we plan to do, or rather people are doing with these kind of tools. Now today in Sri Lanka, almost everybody has a Facebook account, whether they know IT or not. They have a WhatsApp account, most of them, and they have an email, at least which they use rarely because business purposes, one needs to have an email. Now beyond that, under this current environment, in Sri Lanka particularly, people are using 3 types of other tools. Let me tell you that remote access of 2 people is as old as 1990s. I think for the first time I spoke to somebody in South Africa, peer-to-peer, in 1992, just after the internet was introduced to the world. I think 1 year after that. I was fascinated. You couldn't pick the person, but you could speak to somebody. I still remember he was speaking Afrikaner and I was speaking English. I was in USA and he was in Africa. From that time, we have come a long way. So there are 3 types of tools, 3 types of tools that we use in work from home. One, the most easiest one is online storage. People can use Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, Microsoft Outlook, and various other devices. Tools are available where you can store your content, whether it's a document or a photograph or a video clip or whatever, and you can save it online and give access to selected group of people or the whole public, and you can access it as well. These tools now are quite capable of doing joint collaborative work. For example, using Box or Dropbox and various other tools, you can open a Word document and collectively work on it on a session like this. So that's on storage. The second thing is the collaborative platforms. what are collaborative platforms? Where these are the tools where you can actually work together on documents, conduct discussions like on topic, have a common calendar, exchange ideas, and keep a track of it. For example, a board can have a collaborative platform and start doing all your documents there, and you just post it there, everybody gets it. So if, for example, OPA uses Basecamp, one of the tools is available is Basecamp, which is a very robust tool. Then you have Trello, Trello, then you have Flow, and there are various other tools available. They are normally called collaborative project management tools, but they are more than project management. They are really not project management tools. They are mostly collaborative tools where a large number of people across the world can communicate with each other. Then we have these tools like what we are using today: Teams, Zoom, Skype, GoToMeetings, WebEx, and various other tools. These are tools that allow people to have virtual meetings, one-on-one, 2 to 3 people, or large number of people, including webinars where you can lecture people. These are not new tools, ladies and gentlemen. For example, around about early 2000, large universities, famous universities like MIT, Stanford, and Harvard started teaching people online, giving even PhDs using MOOC, massive online communication platforms where 100,000 people can take classes. In fact, Sri Lanka is now using learning management systems like that. So the bottom line here is that at a minimum, beyond your email, beyond your WhatsApp account, beyond your Facebook account, you can start using, or you are probably using, online storage and online collaboration and online meetings. I think that's what I like to set the stage for the future discussions on this panel. Thank you very much, Saman. Take it over.
Thank you very much, Engineer Arjuna Manamperi, highlighting 3 important things: online storage, online collaborative platforms, as well as online meeting tools. So today,
can I chip in for a moment?
Today's session is basically going on online meeting tools. So to deliver the key presentation of online meeting tools, let me invite our resource person. Our resource person is Mr. Trevin Kure, who is Chief Technical Officer of H1 Private Limited. Mr. Trevin Kure will deliver the presentation from H1 Private Limited. Over to you, Mr. Trevin Kure.
Thank you, Saman. So I guess everybody is able to see the presentation. So let me take you through the PowerPoint and give you an illustration and give you some valuable points, what is working from home and what are the tools available. So first of all, I hope everybody is doing well, keeping safe. So first of all, the challenges what we have seen in the industry, because Sri Lanka being a country like where we have to, lot of restrictions or a lot of, I would say, control in terms of internet and the, connectivity, right? So there were a lot of challenges when it comes to, connectivity and also availability of certain data. So when it comes to organization giving access to users who are connecting from home, right? So this became kind of very difficult. So what we want to showcase today is what some of these challenges what we came across. So primarily could be collaboration. So most of the Sri Lankans, they have got used to a culture like they get together or they physically be in office and communicate each other or discuss in certain points, or probably you visit a customer, right? So those are the standard or our traditional way of collaboration or communication. So currently, if you're on a lockdown situation, or if you're not able to say walk into your customers, or if you're not able to walk into your office, so these are the first challenges that you would feel. And also see that you as an organization, you want your employees to work, but then again there are a set of tools and components, or I would say data should be readily available for your users to use in order to perform their day-to-day tasks. So what we have seen is in most of the organizations, they are not ready for this. right? So they never expected that, you know, people should work from home. So they had a lot of issues giving connectivity and also making this data available from home. And also the other aspect is like, okay, so all these data were secured in an environment called data center, right? So it may be within the corporate environment, or it may be within a telecommunication or telco environment, but ultimately it was physically secured. So in case if you're opening up to give access to users from home, are we going to compromise security, right? So these are some of the challenges what we have seen so far. But for today, we have, in terms of collaboration, there are multiple areas like, you know, maybe meetings and instant messaging, or maybe real-time document collaboration where you have, you know, Dropbox or OneDrive and various places where you store data. And also there are version control and other capabilities available, and also task and project management tools. But for today, we're going to highlight, or we're going to focus only on one area, which is meetings and instant messaging. So that is primarily how you do online collaboration. So when it comes to online collaboration, or rather online meetings, so there are multiple platforms or multiple tools available. So probably you have heard Zoom, a popular name, maybe due to certain reasons, maybe due to security, or maybe due to the functionality, right? So there are other tools like Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, GoToMeeting, WebEx, and also BlueJeans. So these are, you know, the reputed tools available in the market, or available on the available as a platform. So we're going to give you some tips in identifying what is the best tool which suits your environment. We are not going to compare each and every one of these tools, but you know, it's competing. All these tools are more or less competing each other. So what you need. So let's say that you want your employees to work from home, or as an employee, what you need to get connected to the office, right? So primarily what you would require is a laptop or a desktop. So which should have a functioning camera and a microphone, because if you want to participate in a meeting, you would require a camera and a microphone, right? So that is, it will give your, you know, presence remotely to all the other colleagues who are connecting from different places. And also it could be from your mobile device. So if you sometimes, if you are not having a laptop or a desktop at home, or maybe you know, you're not able to access it at that moment, so probably even you are able to use your mobile device. It could be a mobile phone or a tablet as well. And also the most important thing, I think the first initiation I said, like, okay, so you should have the connectivity. So probably we would have a lot of challenges when it comes to connectivity, because we might pay connectivity by, you know, data quota. So there are certain restrictions, but you need to buy, so there's some expense. But anyhow, you need to have uninterrupted connectivity to the internet. So when you say internet, it is basically to all these tools, probably a connection back to your office as well. So there could be a way like maybe you have a Wi-Fi route at home, or maybe a dongle, or maybe hotspot that you call it. And there are multiple types of meetings which are available. So probably we would say one-to-one meetings, or say peer-to-peer. Say kind of, you know, two people want to discuss on some matter. So that is, we call it, you know, one-on-one meetings. And also there could be meetings where we as a team within the organization, we want to discuss on a matter, right? So that is probably we would call an internal meeting, maybe within a department or even between departments. But that's simply, you know, within your organization. And also there could be type of meetings where you need to incorporate, or you need to discuss with an external party. It could be a vendor or a supplier, or even could be your, you know, telecom services provider or your infrastructure services provider, right? So these people could be all over, could be within Sri Lanka, or it could be globally in a different country as well. And when it comes to meetings, we can always say, okay, I want to have a meeting in the next 10 minutes time. So that would be sometimes an ad hoc meeting, because you may not, you know, plan far, you know, very you may not plan it ahead a lot. But then again, like if you want, you can have a schedule as well. So you can schedule it for, you know, maybe next week or next month, right? So depending on your calendar, you can have a scheduled meeting as well. So when it comes to having chats, or you call it, one-on-one meetings, so essentially we might not need to have a video, audio all the time, right? So, but you have this option. Okay, so probably you are on WhatsApp. So what you do, you try to communicate with somebody. So how you do it? You just type a message and send it off, right? And you expect a reply. But what happens is, if you say that you are going to use WhatsApp, but is it really corporate communication? It may not be, because it's not governed by your organization rules and regulations. And this data is, available as corporate standardized tool, like what we are going to discuss today, would have, controls where it has enforced by your organization and which is with security and which will not leave your organization as well, right? So in a conversation, so initially we can have, one-on-one chats, and also we would have something called a team chat. So we can discuss on a point, right? So we can discuss on maybe a situation or a new project, or maybe to get the status update, maybe from your sales team or maybe from your backend team, right? So again, it is more or less, chat based. But if you feel that you want to have audio or video, that you can enable as well. So when I explain further about inviting people from outside your organization, or maybe people who are not within this current meeting, right? So there's this facility. I have taken this screenshot from a tool called Microsoft Teams. So probably you have heard about it, right? So assume this meeting is ongoing. So I have already started the meeting, but I want to ask somebody, or I want to call somebody, I want to invite somebody to give this person's input for this particular meeting. But probably I didn't include this person initially as an attendee. So what I would do is, while the meeting is ongoing, I can ask this person to join, right? And then we can ask his contribution. Once it is over, he can even leave, right? So this additional people that you're going to invite into the current conversation could be a person within your organization, or it could be from outside as well. So that capability is there. I'm just highlighting you a feature of Microsoft Teams. And also, now let's say that you have set up a scheduled meeting, and I want, a few people from outside as well. But assume could be a scenario that when you have this meeting, including outsiders, and one of these outside people, forward that request to somebody else, may not be, intentionally, but maybe accidentally. So how do you know who are connecting from outside? Is this genuine person whom you invited, right? So there's this feature called lobby. So what you could do is, when you are scheduling a meeting, and once you start the meeting, right, who are not within your organization are considered as, external people. So first they would come to the lobby, and somebody from your organization, or maybe the organizer, has to accept or admit into the event, right? So doing that will give you control. Okay, who is going to take part in the actual meeting, or have some security on the session as well. So I'll just take you through how you set up a meeting, right? So let's say that you're pre-planning a meeting, you have a time and a date. So what you would do is, you go to the calendar in your meeting tool, right? You can define a time zone. I think probably like when you define your computer with your product, it automatically picks up, or you would define that is your time zone is, +5.5. Then you would define what is the date and the start date and end time, right? And also you can say what is the duration of the meeting as well. So when you say end time, that's the duration. And also there could be meetings which could be recursive. So let's say that the meeting is happening every Monday morning. So you don't need to create, multiple meeting requests for every Mondays, right? You create one request, and you can say the frequency at which these meetings are going to be repeated, right? And also at the body of the request, on the meeting request, you would even have an agenda as well. So where they can, come prepared for the discussion of this meeting. So once all these fields are entered, right, So on your left hand side, you can see Microsoft Teams, how the scheduling is happening. And on your right hand side, you can see how Zoom is going to provide you the same capability, but slightly a different way, because now on Microsoft Teams, you won't see anything called meeting password or meeting ID. That is because Microsoft always depends on something called a user identification or an authentication. So where you need to, log in with a username and a password. But Zoom, on the other hand, uses a different mechanism, which it has something called a meeting ID and also a password, right? But it serves the same purpose, but then again, it works independently. Some of these capabilities or some of these meeting requests would have some additional capability, like for an example, say the attendee might not have a device which has maybe Microsoft Teams installed, or on the other hand, Zoom is installed. So what is going to happen is, for an emergency that you don't have data or you don't have the app running on your device, you can actually dial a number. So there are these local numbers available, right? When I say local numbers, local to Sri Lanka or local to that respective country. So you can dial this number and you can say conference ID and you can say your meeting ID, and you can join as a audio call and you can contribute yourself. But the only disadvantage by connecting only audio is you are not able to see anything, right? But still you are able to join an online meeting remotely. So again, a slight comparison or a side-by-side view of how Microsoft Meeting looks like along with Zoom Meeting, right? So you have different layouts, but then again, like similar features are available on both the platforms. So here are some best practices that when you are joining for an online meeting. So I would say before you join, or as a practice, keep yourself muted, right? So which means like that could help the entire participants or entire meeting. That's because otherwise, if you accidentally speak to somebody in your place, or somebody or if there's any noise generated in your location, so that would interfere the ongoing meeting. So as a best practice, as you join or while you join, you can keep your mouth muted. And also keep in mind, always join few minutes before the scheduled time, right? So punctuality is always important, and that also will judge you who you are. So decide on a place where you want to have the meeting, or basically where you want to have your laptop or a device from where you're going to connect. So keep plenty of light, because if you're going to join with video, so light is very important, because otherwise others won't see you properly, right? And also, if you have any distracting backgrounds, try to enable something called blur background or background effects. Even you can replace your own background, your actual physical background, with an image. Even you could pretend that you're in office, right? And also there could be multiple roles in a meeting, like there could be presenters and there could be attendees, but always you define who needs to be the presenters, because presenter would have a major role, because they can always share content and they can control the meeting as well. So when you're planning for a meeting, don't make everybody presenters. Identify who should be presenters. Rest, leave them as attendees only. And also, at the time of or just before starting the meeting, even you can set few other features of Microsoft Teams, right? So we can say who can bypass lobby. So basically, people who are within your organization can bypass, or maybe everybody who is outside should be in lobby. So there are multiple options available as well. And you can say who can present. So that's what I just mentioned in the previous slide. You can define whether if you are the organizer, then you are the only person who is going to present. Otherwise, you can define who should present at this meeting. So this is how it would look like in a meeting. So different views, right? So on the left top hand corner, you can see the background is blurred, right? So even my video, I have made my background blur, so you don't really see what is at the back end, right? But you would have a focus view of me, right? And also, if you want to share content, maybe your desktop sharing or a PowerPoint, even that option is there. So the right at the top middle screenshot, it's called screen sharing. would allow you to share content as well. And on the right hand side, you can always record a meeting. So if you want to refer this as a, I would say meeting notes, right? I think if it's a physical meeting, probably you would take your notes as well, your book, note-taking book, but probably you might not take notes of everything. But when you say start recording and record the entire meeting, you basically record the entire conversation like a video from start to the end. So whenever you want to refer something, you can rewind back and with that particular point. And also Microsoft Teams would give you some additional features like live captions. Now let's say if you are hosting a meeting for an audience which speaks different languages. Now let's say I'm speaking in English, but you speaks in a different language. What happens is you can set this meeting allow live captions, and it does something called translations as well. So as I speak, probably in English, if you set the language, then you can see the text in English language. But if you change to a language, your native language, assume it's maybe Chinese, right? You can see the translation and the caption appears on your screen, right? And as I said, like in addition to recording the meeting, you have this option to take notes as well. And these notes are shared among the entire attendees for that particular meeting, right? So that would give you some, benefit. You don't need to really copy and mail and all that. So it's available readily right there itself. So while in a meeting, if you want to share a video, right? I said you can share content like PowerPoint and all, but even you can share video. So there's an additional option that you need to select if the video has audio or sound in it, because now the sound would be play in your computer, right? So but if you want others to hear your sound from your laptop or your computer, then you need to select this point that I have highlighted there called include system audio, right? So that would transmit your audio into the respective audience as well. So this particular option. And also make it a habit, not to just chip in every time, but raise hand, right? So this raise hand facility or capability is available with Microsoft Teams as well, right? It is available with so many other platforms also, right? If you want to ask a question or if you want to raise your opinion, click on this button, then others will get to see that you want to speak at the meeting, and then you speak up and you keep your hand down, right? And also, if you have a touch-based device, or maybe if you have a stylus like a pen where you can write on the screen, so I always advise use a virtual whiteboard as well, because that will help you to interactively illustrate and explain things, right? So, but again, like if you are having only a mouse or a touchpad, this may not work as you expect, but it's still worth to try. And probably after the meeting, you can always share, because I said like you can record the meeting, you can share this meeting recording, maybe with the attendees, or you can download that recording and you can share with people, whoever you want to share with, right? And also you can, continue reviewing that meeting and taking notes, and you can continue collaboration, maybe through a chat, or maybe adding content, maybe documents into the same conversation as well, right? So I think maybe today's session, we were talking about, what is new normalcy, right? So this is going to remain for some time, right? Probably, I don't know, maybe throughout. So for Sri Lanka, so as Sri Lankans, we had to adopt this. So we need to just give you a glimpse or brief of what are these tools and capabilities are. And I just want to thank you and stay safe and stay productive. Over to you, Saman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Praveen Kure, CTO of H1 Private Limited. Your insightfulness of this particular session is about the work from home. What are the tools and tips you should understand? You gave how to face the challenges remote working, and also explain the certain tools like Zoom and Microsoft Meeting and GoToMeeting, etc. And also you gave how to do the instant messages and invite others to the meeting forum, etc. So thank you very much again, Praveen, for these insightful ideas about this particular work from tools meeting. So it is now duty, or now our next session is to forward to the panel discussion. So in the panel discussion, there are 6 members involved. Let me just go through the members. Mr. Saman Varsthana, President of OPA, and Engineer Praveen Rupasinghe, Vice President OPA, Chairman and Career Guidance Skills Development Committee. Engineer Arjuna Manampere, Vice President of OPA. Mr. Amil Sugudapala, Treasurer OPA, and also also the CEO of CAL Export Lanka and financial professional. Mr. Samarth Fernando, CEO of H1 Private Limited, and Mr. Praveen Kure, CTO of H1 Private Limited. So in this resource panel, we have business professionals, financial professionals, and technology professionals. So this is the good collaboration of the panelists to discuss the importance of these new normalcy tools working from home. So let me forward my first question to the President OPA, Mr. Saman Varsthana. So as the professionals need to understand the importance of the professionals need to understand the importance of online meeting tools and their role. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And also I must thank the presenters for some wonderful presentations made. The role of OPA, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, is actually the professional should take the lead role, because it is the professional who get to know this technology first to disseminate the knowledge among the others. It is left to the professionals to do that. I hope now OPA is a congregation of 52 professional institutes in various fields. I represent Agriculture Institute and agriculture professions. Even in agriculture, ICT and the digital technology is used heavily, and it is the future. And so are the other professions as well, and other industries as well. Now, in the capacity of a small the SME sector entrepreneur, and so I also had the practical experience in quick shifting to the work from home, and we were not most of our organizations are not geared, as some of the presenters very clearly mentioned. We are not geared to do that. We had to face actually we had to take ad hoc measures in embracing this technology. We were, as I can give my experience as the entrepreneur. Now, luckily, we were looking at we were better at the time this COVID-19 struck us. We were actually with the fairly amount of instruments, but in terms of the computer literacy, ICT literacy, it was not that good, and the data and things like that were the problem. So, however, despite the efficiencies of the systems, we could manage. We could manage at that time. Also, with the ad hoc things, we quickly embraced this technology. We could manage. We were above the others. As we immediately shifted, switched into the work from home. So whatever the tools available, we got it and did that. So it's in OPA, professional institutes. We started virtual meetings immediately, although we have been advocating virtual meetings and the collaborative platforms quite a long time, even more than a decade or rather. Even last year, we were trying to, concentrate. We started online meetings, virtual platforms only just after this happened. So I believe this eye opener for everyone. We have some deficiencies, But this kind of collaboration, this kind of efforts, definitely, the leaders, the professional leaders like us, we must get together and do it for the benefit of the society. I must thank Engineer Arjuna as a member of actually ICT industry skill council, took the initiative, collaborate with the other organization like government of Sri Lanka, Labour Ministry. They have funds to train. But unfortunately, we are not aware of these funds available for the ICT training. So I believe OPA, together with ICT Skill Council and OPA Skill Development Committee, chaired by Mr. Engineer Ravi Rupasinghe, and all, we get together, disseminate this message, give this message across the country, so across the professionals, employees, entrepreneurs, everyone, so that that we are coming forward to help you. So let's make this challenge something that is this opportunity for us to go forward and thereby actually minimizing the waste of huge loss, energy resources for this country, this world at large. So thank you very much. That is my comment with regard to this switching to work from home. Thank you. To you, Mr. Saman.
Thank you, President Mr. Saman Varsudhana. I think you elaborate answer about OPA's role to disseminate this work from tool to among the professionals highly mentioned, and also you have answered one question about, there was one question from the forum, that what are the actions taken by the OPA to take to communicate to the government the importance of WF working from home tools. So you have answered that question also. So I'll proceed now. The second question to Engineer Ravi Rupasinghe. Engineer Ravi Rupasinghe, I think you are as the chairman of the Career Guidance and Skills Development Committee. You can mention why the career perspective, these online video tools important, and how professionals or the professionals can leverage the benefits in office as well as personal perspective. Over to you, Engineer Ravi.
Thank you, Saman. I think it's a very valuable question you asked from me. I think right now, so everybody doesn't have equal things of resources. So resources are distributed in a different ways. Some must have more numbers of resources, some person have less numbers of resources. But in the case of skill development, so we have to use those resources to move, that means give to other people. One example, if we are in Colombo, we have many resources, we have many peoples, we have many knowledge. But early cases, if we are conducting some seminar or career guidance or whatever the things, we can invite them and they are coming for some place and we are conducting the sessions. We are giving our knowledge or the things to people, but it's limited to small people. But if you want to conduct that kind of things in the Jaffna, the resource person, we have to went there and need to conduct. So that is wasting time, wasting money, many things. But in that case, if you can use the platform, media platform like this, so we can conduct anything in anywhere, and we can invite the audience, whether it is a Jaffna, whether it's from Matara or Hambantota. Even other case, if I want to get the resource person from other countries, example, maybe Australian person or New Zealand or USA. So we don't want to ask them to come to Sri Lanka and deliver the lecture or deliver their knowledge, share their knowledge. So while the resource person be in their country, we can invite for them to give their knowledge or deliver their skills to us. So there are many aspects, many benefits for the career guidance. One example is nowadays, even education sector, even foreign countries, if there is any crisis situation in the country, whether maybe COVID or any crisis, Some countries, they are conducting all the education sections using that platform. Even Sri Lanka, there are some schools, they are conducting the same thing. Even my case, I have some experience I would like to share with you. Even my daughters in my home, they are learning, they are getting the skills. Even for a music, the teacher is giving the lesson for one place, and the students in their home, they are getting that knowledge. They are developing their skills. So that is the era. That is the era. We have to give that transformations. That is called behavior changes, maybe attitude changes, phase shift to our people. That we have to start from the child level. Then we have to move forward the maybe a organizational level. Even especially I want to mention, if we can inculcate those behaviors to the government, that will be benefited for entire country. I think I gave the answer for you. Thank you. Over to you, Saman.
Thank you, Engineer Ravi Rupasinghe. Actually, I want to share one thing also. One of my colleague also now doing the tutoring through online tools. This is an additional benefit to him. Just one example. So now, as I mentioned earlier, in our panel we have financial professionals also. So my question now goes to Mr. Amila Sugatapala. As the financial professional, can you explain how we can get financial benefits with online meeting tools and how it impact to bottom line, financial bottom line? Over to Amila Sugatapala.
Thank you, Saman. Thank you very much, Ravi and the team for organizing this webinar today under this theme. Let me add my perspective. I think the work from home, the idea just got a big push from the current global, due to current global crisis situation. But if you look at even before this COVID-19 become a factor, people used to work from home. Maybe it was not very much popular in Sri Lanka, but it was happening. But I think even Arjuna mentioned his opening remarks. You know, people are quite used to maybe sending text messages, email, even Skype. Right, they communicate with overseas on Skype. So, that way we have barrier the break the 8 to 5 shift or the working time. Right now, of course, in addition to these things, we have the Zoom or this kind of what you call the communication tools, right? And not only that, maybe cloud computing, right? As Arjuna mentioned again, storage facilities and telecommuting options as well. And there are certain kinds of work that can be done just as effectively from home as you are doing it in office. Now, what I want to mention here is it is very important to identify the benefits of when you are working from home or from a remote place, right? Employee productivity is very important here. Now, if I may mention, recently there had been a research conducted by Harvard Business School where they have identified due to this work from home or remote places, employee productivity has increased, turnover has reduced, and which has eventually lower the organization cost. Now, if you look at countries like Finland, right, they are contemplating on a 4-day work week. Which they believe more productive, right? Flexible working hours, of course, they were practicing for so many years, maybe back in even 90s even, right? Now, even if you look at Sri Lanka, now if you look at the students who are getting involved with higher education, they generally don't work even part-time. But if you look at the foreign countries, that is happening. I think this was mentioned by Ravi also at his opening remarks. Business organizations also can look at this untouched resources, because we are looking at a skilled labor force which we have not utilized. Even those students also, that is an opportunity, right? Now here, of course, we are talking about mainly meeting, collaborating tools, right? And we talked about the document sharing and editing. The presenter, of course, explained those areas. So key takeaways for me, if you ask me the benefits, right? For employers, working from home can boost productivity, reduce turnover, and lower organization. While for employees, enjoy perks like flexibility and the lack of commute, that kind of things. So I think I have given answer for your questions, Saman. Over to you now.
Thank you, Mr. Amila. So Mr. Amila mentioned that flexibility and the commitment from the organization perspective. So I think as a CEO of our organization, there's a lot of role to play how to inculcate this new culture. So Mr. Saman Fernando, I'd like for this question for you. As a CEO of an organization, can you brief how this transformation to new normalcy scenario from the previous situation as CEO, how can you do as CEO or the leadership matter? Can you explain a little bit?
Thanks, Saman. I think it's a little bit of a transformation for everyone. In organization, we are used to seeing employees coming in the morning, they will clock in or put the fingerprint in, and then at 5 o'clock or 5:30 they go out. But now with this work from home scenarios, we don't get to see whether the employees are there, employees are working or not. I think the first is that fundamental mental shift. What you need to have is that the clock in, clock outs are only meant for certain types of work, and most of the work, we come from IT background, so most of the work what my team does can be done very effectively remotely as well. Now, Kevin spoke, Kevin's entire team of 19 engineers have been working over for the last 3 months, continuous without a single day we didn't switch off. Everyone supporting lots of customers and handling customer queries. Also, everything what we normally supported, whether it's a bank or a corporate on this thing, we were able to do remotely. But there's another part of it. So we brought in certain things like 9 o'clock, we have one meeting online. Everybody needs to come for that meeting. And 5 o'clock, we have another meeting, checking out. We discuss what we did and whether there were any issues or things like that. So there were some collaboration meetings, plus lots of the movements moved to, we also you have used a little bit of a KPI and task management tools. But those help us to keep in track with the employees. But I would say fundamentally, as a leader, as a CEO, you need to start trusting the employees, and that whether they are not visible to you or not, that they are going to work. But I think from the organization point of view, your KPIs need to move towards more output-based KPIs rather than time-based KPIs. You need to look at whether the tasks are done. Accountability of the task need to be given to individuals, and the responsibility. So whether they're at office or not, as long as they complete the task, I think the organization would be in safer grounds. Over to you, Saman.
Thank you very much. So there's a question actually in the question forum asking, or they want to know further about how do you blur your background So my question now goes to the Trevin Kure. With that question, how do you blur your background? So with that, let me give more detail. So this online meeting tools is new to the culture, especially for professionals and the people. So understand the features and how to handle behavior during the meeting progress is important. So as CTO of an organization, could you elaborate more about ground rules, best practices of conducting meeting tool? Over to you, Trey.
Thank you, Saman. Let me first answer the question you asked about how you blur your background. So it depends on the tool that you use, right? So if you're using the tool that we currently use, which would have something called more actions, and it will give you an option to say, okay, what are the background effects? So depending on the product what you use, this feature may be named or labeled differently, but it does the same purpose. So probably you could do it at 2 levels before you start your video or even after you start your video, right? So but only thing is you have to make sure that you are joining the meeting before you do that. Okay, so let me answer the other queries that you asked. So primarily, what are the best practices? So let me answer you with 5 best practices. Pardon?
My question is actually elaborate the ground rules you should follow when you are starting the online meeting, as well as the best practices.
All right. Okay. So I'll put it into a context like, okay, so as what are the ground rules? Because obviously, like the ground rules obviously would become the best practice as well. So first of all, I would recommend everybody to dress up like that. You go to office in the morning, you groom yourself and you dress up and you get ready to work, right? So that would obviously would define a purpose. So that would be the first best practice or the point that I want to highlight. And also, as a ground rule, I would say, okay, have a dedicated office space within your home. It could be, or it has to be somewhat which is pleasant, maybe quiet, right? And also that would help you, have some quality time, right? And where you would be able to focus on your work, right? And also the other thing is like now while you work from home, you might not have a track of the time, right? Reason being, your peers are not next to you. So unless somebody at home, calling you for lunch or to have the tea, right? But otherwise you don't really look at the time, right? So in that case, I suggest as a ground rule, all the tasks that you do, so probably that, let's say that I have a meeting at 10 o'clock, so have a schedule. So update your corporate calendar, right? So this would help even your colleagues who are connecting from another place and see whether you're really occupied or not, right? So not to show that you're always busy, but actually your occupancy, right? And also take breaks in between, because now if you don't take breaks, in a frequent manner, so that would stress you out. So you take breaks probably for your meal or maybe to stretch out, right? And probably you can even take few steps, right? So that would give you some relaxation. But I don't think that you are allowed to take a nap at home, right? But or maybe to go to the boutique to buy some stuff. But but otherwise you can have a schedule to keep your work organized. And the other thing, as a recommendation, I would say have a steady internet connection, because since you're working remotely, probably you need to have access to all your collaboration and all your work tools. So maybe your line of business applications or your collaboration tool requires audio video conferencing, right? So what I suggest is go with a fiber or an ADSL connection if it is available, but even a 4G would do. Now, to tell you, like even the current connectivity, what I'm using for this session is a 4G connection, right? And also I have seen like, some of the telecom providers bundle, certain offers where they will add, some of these collaboration tools as part of their, I would say offer package. So which means they will give you more data for that type of traffic at a very minimal cost. So you can just inquire from your ISP to find out what are or any offers available on that. And also I would say, I think probably I mentioned this even at my PowerPoint. When you're participating in an online meeting, always remember as a ground rule, mute yourself. So start muted, right? So that will prevent any unnecessary background noise or disturbance coming into the audience, right? Or otherwise you are going to disturb the entire audience. And always you can, unmute yourself and speak up. And once you are done, you can mute back again. And also another point I need to highlight there. Now, in case if you don't want your if you don't want your video to be broadcasted, unless it is required in the meeting, but otherwise don't turn it on, right? Because if you don't use your video, then you're going to save some bandwidth, right? Because video consumes a lot of bandwidth. So if it is really required, only turn on the video. Otherwise, no need to turn on the video.
Yeah, and that's a good idea about the turning off the bandwidth, because many participant attendees think about the bandwidth, their capacity, because sometimes they log in their own personal account. So I think
correct, yes.
Other thing is, I think we need to have an agenda also, like formal meetings. We need to have good agenda and the
agenda. So update the calendar along with it. Yeah. And one last thing I want to point out, like now, since you're working from home, probably you would forget that you have people at home, right? You have to show some importance to them also, probably to your spouse or maybe your children. So on and off, while you're taking a break, just speak to them as well. So I guess that would address most of the key points or maybe the best practices that you need to follow when you work from home. And over to you, Mr. Saman.
Thank you, Mr. Ravi. So now we might think about the legality aspect of the online tool. What is the legal background, or is it valid or not? So from the technological perspective, expert perspective, I would like to ask Engineer Arjuna Manampere about how the legal binding online, because I think he has know about the legal side also, about how technology used in the organizations and how online tool importance or legal binding when compared to the face-to-face meeting. Over to you, Engineer Arjuna Manampere.
Actually, Saman, I am bored to death, and you give me a very boring question. So I'm going to take over. Now you've given me the opportunity, I'm going to do a little bit differently. Okay, this is very boring. It's not easy to sit in front of a tube looking at my face and so many other faces which need ton of grooming. Okay, I'm looking at my face and I'm wondering how old I have become. It's terrible. This is very depressive. But I think eventually, I think one of the things that this kind of conference calling will bring in is either most likely people will see how they talk, how they act, and how they look in front of other people. I think that will be good. I think most likely, particularly in Sri Lanka, the men are not very particular about their grooming, and I think this will be good. Number two, Trevin, Mr. Kure, you are not from this world. I think you are from Mars, because you said that after doing all this work at home, you are supposed to go to your spouse and tell her how good she is or what. I think I'm already been thrown out of the house, not by the spouse, by my father, right? So this is. I want to add something to what Trevin was talking about, Saman, if I may, about what we should, how we should behave. Let me tell you what we should not do, not what we should do. Now you guys have set up this meeting on Saturday afternoon, 4 to 6. And there's another meeting set up by OPA from 6 to 8. And there's another meeting set up by IESL from 9 to 10 or 11. And then I have my own meeting set up from 11 o'clock to I don't know what time. This is crazy. We should not do that. We should learn not to interfere with other people's time. This is very important, otherwise people will leave this kind of platforms. So I suggest to all the audience, stick to your normal life. If you have working hours, stay with those work hours, and only when there's a desperate need, you should use these tools to make life more productive. That's number one. Otherwise, Sri Lankans will walk away from this one. Another one I would like to say not to do before I come to the legalities. You can have a legal issue, because just because we are using technology, that doesn't mean that we need to be different. It's basic etiquette. You're not supposed to record someone's conversation without telling them. We know that, right? I think all of you should know that you cannot record something without telling the other party you're recording. It's illegal and you can be sued. So one of the things we should do is not turn on the recording button and next day you play it and say that, hey, I got it on Zoom. This happened recently in one of the organizations. They said that I already got you on record. That's not nice. Don't do that. Tell the people we are going to record it and do so. Now the legalities of these meetings, this question was asked from by someone else recently. I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but I can tell you this much. If you are recording these conversations, the timing is there, the digital stamp is there to say that on this particular split second, Arjuna Manamperi said this. I cannot walk away from it. Now, depending on the country's law, these things can be administered in a court of law. Now, in USA, recordings are not admitted to the court of law unless there are some special cases. I think it is true in this case in Sri Lanka as well. So legalities about the recording and writing and recording all this information. Keep the basic ethics of human beings. Tell them that we are doing it. Use it for productive purposes. If you plan to use it for legal purposes, probably you should consult the lawyer, not me. Be very careful. Be very careful how we put this kind of tools into use. Saman, do you have any other further questions?
Yeah, actually, I have another question. There's another question from the question session. I want forward to the Engineer Arjuna.
Right.
How does data protection apply working from home? Data protection.
Okay, so the question is this data that is being transmitted? For example, I mentioned that we can work on a document remotely, right? So you are asking whether that is visible and etc. That depends on the tool. That depends on the tool. Generally, these are encrypted data. Now, for example, if you take WhatsApp, for example, all our conversation and text are encrypted end to end. That means it's garbled up, and when it's been received at the other end, it's shown as text. So we have to check if you are doing that. This is why I mentioned at the very beginning, I think Mr. Kurre was talking about this. Depending on the type of work you are planning to do. Now, if you work for a design office, and if you are building a top design, for example, Boeing plane or something like that, you cannot just use WhatsApp and these kind of tools. You have to go and get the right tools for security. And that is why I mentioned at the very beginning, did I mention or not, I can't remember, but I would like to mention now. Don't look at these tools like special IT tools and we need the IT guy. I see a lot of messages going between OPA forum right now, talking to somebody saying that IT guys, we need IT guys. This is nothing to do with the IT guys. This is just a tool. Instead of coming to your home or your office, I'm in front of you through the tube, right? So now the important thing is to find out whether this serves the purposes. If I want to have a casual chat, it's okay. If I want to have very secretive chat, then you need to go for secretive but encrypted data, and you should ask for special services from these appropriate parties. That's my answer to you, Saman. Understand what we are trying to do normally and adhere to that. That's all.
Mr. Trainpuri, can you add briefly about data protection further to what Engineer Arjuna mentioned? Brief, if anything.
Yeah, I think just to add a few things, like, even WhatsApp, I think you see that there's this option, it says end-to-end encryption, right? But in all these tools, what we discuss or what you see are having this encryption capability, I would say, right? And also you need to keep in mind whenever you take documents, right? We tend to save documents on the desktops. Now, in case if you are using, somebody else's laptop or computer, say to connect remotely, make sure you don't save anything on the desktop. To try to use and try to keep content within the tool itself. So that is the answer I need to give here.
Yeah,
Someone let me also maybe add something to that. I think mainly the data protection. Now I work as a CIO for the Hydrogen Group as well. This is the area we are really worried about when working from home. Let's say when they use the tools, whether they can take some of the corporate files and save it in their personal computers. Now, this is a typically like we try to control it by the user integrity and giving them what to do, what not to do, and things like that. but there do exist certain technologies where when you do something called a data protection wrapper around a Word file, so let's say when that particular file leaves the organization, let's say I accidentally forward it to somebody from the OPA, but they will not be able to open that file because it's a hydromony only intellectual property. Then there can be things like we call the virtual desktops. I think Praveen is expert on that. The why we use that is even though you're using a home computer or like another computer which is not secure, the corporates can give a virtual desktop which belongs to them, so that the employee works within that environment provided by the employer, and whatever they do cannot leave that particular environment. And some of the critical workflows we recommend that, but there's a slightly a cost element applicable here. It's not like a normal meeting which is affordable to everyone. It depending on the nature of the information you want to protect, because information protection is a huge subject, as well as I think Arjuna will also add to that, because there's no 100% security how much you spend. So it need to be taken with the correct context and to say what data needs a real that level of protection. Arjun, maybe you can also add something along the same line.
Yeah, I like to add. I was talking to someone last night, and I said, "What security in Sri Lanka? You go to Bank of Ceylon, right? You go to the manager. There are 50 people surrounding that table." When I first came in around 2009, I was shocked. I came back and I was shocked by that. And they are talking about their marriage, whether they are married or not, their children's ages, their birthdays, you name it. If you give all that information, your bank accounts can be hacked in no time, right? So in Sri Lanka, we are not used to, as a culture, protecting our privacy. Generally, we are like, "Mokada une bandala de inne amai ki denada okkom tika ahanawan," right? We have all frozen. Are we frozen now? Hello?
No.
Okay, right, I'll carry on. Right. Yeah. So basically, if you can hear me, that's good enough. I think Sri Lanka particularly need a special changes in their minds, slowly but steadily, about this security matter. Because we are not a culture where we pay a lot of attention to security. In fact, we would like to find out everything about other people. So we are very loose. So therefore, I would say that it's a little bit of culture change. You have to be very concerned about this, particularly the CEOs and CIOs and CTOs must pay attention to this and should not discourage people, but should encourage people to do this, but be watchful about what they are doing. That's my first step. Don't tell people about this security stuff and scare the hell out of them.
Okay.
I think someone, one point for me, I think we have to discuss, we have to ask from the Terin. I think a lot of people are asking how about the data usage, kochra data yanavada. So we have to give some idea for the public. So data usage. So I'm interacting for someone and asking the question from Terin or Samath.
Okay, Samath, let me answer first. Okay, so basically now if you ask me the question, okay, how much data, there are a lot of factors to that, how much data. So it depends on if you have enabled video or not, right? Or whether you are transferring a file or not. So there are a lot of questions, attached to it. But in general, if I say with video, for an hour of video session, it would be about maybe 1 GB or maybe plus or minus depending on the quality of the video as well. So what I suggest is like if you want to save data on Windows, there's something called metered connection. So you can define your network connection, maybe your home Wi-Fi or your connected maybe dongle, right? You can define that connection as a metered connection. So what would happen is it will reduce all the background downloads. So this includes, updates coming into your machine as well. But in a way, it's not a recommended way to do throughout, but at least during the peak time, because in most of the ISPs, they will give you peak time which starts from 8 AM until 12 midnight. So within this period, if you set this value as metered network, so which you're going to save a lot of data. So then that data can be used for your day-to-day other activities. But again, I want to say, now, since you're enabling metered network and going to prevent, background data and updates are, being downloaded, but make sure that you update your machine and applications maybe late in the night or maybe early morning.
Mr. Trevin, and I would like another question about when you are setting the meeting, you can share, make the password, the meeting ID and password. So what is the importance of this meeting ID and password from security perspective? So how you can avoid external unauthorized party to enter into the meeting? Over to you, Kevin.
Okay, so let me answer it this way. Now, meetings can be created in a way anybody, you call it anonymous, users also can join in, right? But what I suggest is, based on your platform, because any platform would give you maybe a username and password or a meeting ID and a PIN number. So as a best practice or as default, if you're creating a meeting or scheduling a meeting, always use a username and password or a meeting ID and a PIN number. So that will prevent, if somebody accidentally forward this query to or this meeting URL to an outsider, them connecting back without knowing the exact PIN number, right? So if I simplify that, don't ever share a meeting request anonymously. So it says meeting request shouldn't be for everyone. It has to be designated for defined set of people.
Thank you, Trevin. So,
Someone, may I add something? This is Arjuna.
Sure, Engineer
Just a
Arjuna.
simple thought. I would like to keep the people, the listeners and everybody else informed. Look at what you are trying to do. If you listen to all the technicalities that we are giving, I think it's over your head now, definitely. But focus on what exactly are you trying to do in simple terms, and think about the importance of security or the lack of it, or having it, how many people, lighting conditions, and etc. etc. Think about it and then pick the right tool and work on it. That's the way to make it a practice, or rather a way of life. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Engineer Arjuna. So my question next goes to the Mr. Saman Varsavitana. Saman? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can hear.
Question about how government,
Saman,
especially
can you switch on the video?
Yeah, my video is on. Yeah.
Your lights are off.
How the government, divisional secretaries, government organizations, we can communicate the use of online meeting tool. What is the OPS role in that perspective? Just in short, because we are going out of time. In short.
Yeah, Saman. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Still, I'm not on live.
You are live, Saman.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Saman. What I have to mention is with regard to the government, it should be, because immediately just after the COVID-19 crisis, all the government wanted all the government institutions to switch to work from home, but they were not prepared. I believe the policy should be prepared, should be there, and also it's unlike the other private organization, but the KPIs, key performance indicators. Of course, in the private organizations, we can define our KPIs, with not at the time-based ones, but productivity-based ones. Whereas the government organizations looks at in a different way. So their data security is important. Most of the government organizations are regulatory, playing a regulatory role. In it's the policy which matters. Therefore, I think the policy should be changed. But anyway, they have to understand the organization heads, the department heads, ministry level. They can identify where to what extent they can switch to work from home. And then the other one, the second one, I believe there are constraints and limitations with regard to the instruments. Most of the government organizations, they use desktop computers and things like that. So I believe it has to be, but we can always communicate with the government as much as possible in terms of look at the productivity, to increase the productivity, of course, to switch, for them to switch. But it's not easy as we think, because the entire policies have to be changed. So I believe we can write to the organization, we can communicate with the government that wherever it is possible, switch to work from home and these kind of tools where you can enhance the productivity and save millions of money, resources for this country. Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to forward the question for you all, resource panel, from the financial perspective and as well as technological perspective and business perspective. How to evaluate the best online meeting tool? For example, let's take from financial perspective, Mr. Amila, how you evaluate the best or the suitable tool for meeting as a meeting tool?
I think from the financial perspective, what I want to tell you is, most of us are already having certain equipment like, smartphones, maybe the laptops or the desktops, right? It's a matter of selecting the tool as per our requirement. That is what we need, right? From the discussion, what we gathered so far, do what you want to do. Achieve what you want to achieve. That be simple, and you don't need to worry about sometimes security aspects unnecessary. But having said that, you have to be mindful about the possible scam and cyber threats as well. You can get a proper training for this, right? The various trainings are available, right? And if you simply follow these tools also for basic requirements, I don't see any issue. That's what I would like to add.
Thank you. Audio engineer Arjuna Manamperi.
So how do you select online meeting tools? That's your question, Saman?
Yes. If a person going to select what is a good tool, what's your technology perspective, your advice?
Right. I think Amila already gave the answer, my answer, basically saying that decide what you want to do and focus on that. It's like going to the shop with your girlfriend. If you go to the shop, you'll have to have a stakeholder. So you will buy the shirts the girl wants. If you go on your own, you'll buy something to cover yourself, right? If you're going for your wedding, you will spend a lot of money that you really need not spend for some funky looking shirt that you will never use the rest of your life. So those are the things that you need to do. Gentlemen, life has not changed just because we are working from home. Okay, your common sense must prevail. If you don't have a lot of money, you should go for the cheaper version. So when you go for the cheaper version, and if you're trying to do the Cadillac work, like I want to have a top-notch discussion with the president of the country, very secretive discussion, then you got the ball wrong, because you need a very secured application. So think like normal human beings, what you're trying to do. And then let me tell you a single story to make my point, and then that's enough. I was working for I never worked for, but I worked with a very large multinational company as a CIO. So when I went to implement a massive ERP system in the boardroom, once I did the pitch, they were asking me after 5 to 10 minutes of presentation is done. I normally don't make long presentation. They said, "What about security, Arjun?" That's all they understood, I think, because it's a massive ERP system. Then I asked them, I was ready for this question because someone prepared me, said they will ask this question. That's why they never allowed us to implement ERP systems. I asked, do you use email, Mr. Chairman? He said, yes. Is that your personal email? Yes. How long? Oh my God, 2050. He was very proud. He said that I have been using it since the beginning of times. So that's about 15 or 20 years or so, right? At that time. Then I said, to whom do you write the emails? My daughter, my wife, and etc. I said, so all your personal email is in that? Yes, yes. What is it? Yahoo. Do you know Mr. Yahoo? I asked him. And everybody started laughing. Get my point? Your most private information is already shared. Ladies and gentlemen, if you need to be hacked, you have been hacked. If you are not being hacked yet, because you are not worthy of hacking. So let's focus on real things, right? Life has not changed. Technology does not change life. It only enables life, but your thinking hat must be there. The common sense thinking hat must prevail. Financials, security, people skills, leadership, community work, balancing home and life and work, all these things are still intact. So think about them and pick the tool. That's it. Nothing else, nothing rocket science here.
Okay, Trevi, can you just one or two sentence? How do you
Yeah,
choose
so
the
so I think most all the other gentlemen did spoke about the technology and what is best, right, and how you select and all that.
I have to chip in. I have to chip in. And I have to chip in. For the rest of the work, pick Travin, Mr. Kure. He knows all the techie stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, that may be true, but then again, I want for this session, I want to say, keep everything simple, right? But don't think of, making things complicated, because sometimes when you make things complicated, it becomes a threat. So always try to keep it very simple. So that's my takeaway today.
Thank you.
Okay, as a final wrap up, so let me come with all the panels. Give me one sentence in current context, new normalcy context, the importance of work from tool. Or to use Mr. Saman versus Dan, one sentence as a final wrap up.
Your mic is.
Saman, you're on mute.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for organizing this webinar. Actually, our effort, basically the professionals get together, must give this knowledge to the community, where we can use these tools in a very effective manner. And it is the duty of the professionals to take the lead role. So in the digitalization, enhancing digital literacy, it is the left to the professionals to take the lead role, and let us get together and do it. That is my message. That is my thank you.
Okay, over to you, Engineer Ravi.
Okay, as a final message, I want to say that if you are moving for the new things, we don't want to fear anything. So we have to face the new changes. That is the one thing. Other thing is, if you are going for a new thing, we have to understand what are the opportunities available to use those new technologies. What are the opportunities we can use new technologies? Those are the things I want to highlight here.
Audio Engineer Arjuna Manamperi.
Yeah, that's an excellent point by Ravi. The last part he mentioned, when you have new enabling tools, what do you do with them? So I'll give credit to him for that. For me, for God's sake, Sri Lanka, don't drive 3 hours to a 5-minute meeting after COVID is over, okay? And by the way, COVID is not going to be over. Now the latest word from WHO is living with COVID. We are married to COVID. So please don't think of going back to 3-hour trips to Colombo from Kandy and to sit to open your mouth for 5 minutes that nobody cares about, and then drive back home taking another 4 hours. Let's not change the game. OPA should do the same thing. We should not have these meetings that we have to drive to the office for 2 hours or 3 hours, sometimes depending on the traffic. But having said that, wherever it's needed, we will have the physical meetings, but let's not go back. Everything that we are learning under these circumstances must be put to use. Thank you very much.
Over to you, Mr. Amile.
What I would say, or what I have gathered, is let's have a step-by-step approach. Eventually you will learn and you will implement this. That's my message.
Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Samarth Fernanda.
My message is that today's technology is ready and it is accessible and affordable to everyone. Take advantage of the opportunity. This is like a reboot to Sri Lankan economy as well as corporates. Sometimes we have somebody shared a joke saying, who is driving the digital transformation in the company? I like to see a CIO or the CEO. Actually, the answer is COVID-19 has done wonders what we couldn't have done over the last 3 to 5 years. The organizations are using more digital technology now. This COVID pandemic, I think that's a little bit of a silver lining in the dark clouds. So that's my take. Please embrace this, like Arjuna says. Gone are the days you bring 20 branch managers for a one meeting. Just have a morning meeting, 15 minutes. That's done. It's for the CEOs to take this and take it forward. I believe it's one more thing. It's not a rich man's tool anymore. Whether you use simply like a per month. Now Zoom we discuss and Teams we discuss. I think Google Hangout is same. There are offers for about $14 on Zoom. I think Teams is about $2.50. Google is also about $2.50 per person. These tools are now affordable. They are on a monthly fee, and you don't have to have any capexes or any cost. And these are much more secure than any other tool you all use on your on-prem. So I think trust them, use them on a day-to-day, and use them to recover.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad. So, Mr. Trevin, over to you.
Yeah, just I want to say just a thanking remark because all the other gentlemen, they said, you know, this is the new norm, right? So we have to live with it, right? And the technology has, or COVID, I would say, has enlightened that we have a lot of tools available and we can work with these tools. So just that, okay, since you have adopted or adapting these new technologies, just try to live with that as well. So thank you so much. So I think that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, our resource panel, for the detail about this work from home tools and tips and what are the benefits we can achieve. So during this session, we have highlighted the importance of from business, financial and technological perspective. Actually, I personally believe WFH tools are more beneficial to society and as a whole perspective. So we also know about 3 Ps. 3 Ps means planet, people, profit. So from the sustainability perspective, because we are reducing the carbon footprint because of we are not driving physically to the particular meeting place, we are reducing the carbon footprint. So from society perspective, environmental perspective also, we are doing much more benefit if you are adapting to the work from home tools. So with that remark, let me finally thank all the participants who attended to this webinar session. And I hope that you improved your knowledge, skills, and attitude towards WFH meeting tools, and also OPE President, Vice President, and committees. And also, I would like to thank the participants from H1 Private Limited, Mr. Samat Fernando and Trevin Kure, to conduct this webinar session. Thank you all, and stay safe. Have a nice good evening. Thank you.